Chris at Rockford Ordnance, and bringing you a video today on something I've wanted to show you for a long time. And I've actually had it put out a video on it, and I thought I'd show you how it came into being. So I took what I had assembled, disassembled the whole thing, put it back to stock form, just so I could show you how we built it, how we put it together, and what the end result is. So here, I'll bring it to you now. It is our mini Draco. And this is the stock form it came in. We'll go over it real quick. Just to be completely upfront, it didn't come with this ComBlock mag. It came with a P-mag, and it had a A2 style flash hider on it. Right now it's just got a muzzle nut. But like I said, I disassembled it all, put it back to stock, and I'm going to show you how it went together and how we put it together real quick. So essentially it is a Romanian Draco pistol from Cugir, built in the Cugir plant. So it is 100% arsenal built. There are some of these put together here in the States, so kind of beware of that. I can't speak as to how good those are or aren't, but hey, we know this is the legit Cugir deal, and it's good to go. Essentially, we've got a stamped receiver, 1 millimeter thick, just like a wasser basically. The back of it is just a flat stamped part of the receiver. There's no hole for a sling swivel or to mount a brace or anything like that. It is just 100% in pistol form. Comes with their standard Century pistol grip, standard Century trigger group, standard safety, rib top cover, just what you would expect out of like a wasser. It is missing a side rail. They don't provide that. It does come with this laminate furniture, kind of blondish, and you can see the laminate. And it is nice. It's a nice hand grip. You'll notice some differences between, you know, the Draco, the mini Draco, which this is, and the micro Draco. The Draco is a little bit longer. I think that's a 10.5-inch barrel. This is a 6-inch barrel, I believe, 6.5-inch barrel. Look how tiny this gas tube is. Makes for a very short sight plane. You know, there's not a lot of space between the two. And, you know, a lot of people say, well, that doesn't give it that great of accuracy. But we'll show you in the other video that this gun can be pretty accurate. And I'll tell you that resting it at 100 yards, I've done some 2.5-inch groups with it. So it's pretty accurate, and that was with a red dot, but we'll get into that. Got a muzzle nut on here. One thing that's different about the rest of the Romanian rifles in this is that the front hood here is you know, completely enclosed, other than a hole in the top to get your sight tool in there. And it does come into play in your sight picture. Kind of gets in the way using iron sights or using an optic like a red dot. It gets in the way. We're going to open that up, and I think it'll be much better. The guts are identical to anything else coming out of Cugir. So we know it's reliable. I told you I put this back to how it was. The guns probably had in excess of, I don't know, between 500 and 1,000 rounds through it. No wear, no nothing. The thing runs flawlessly, no issues whatsoever. The handguard is attached with one screw right here. and it's kind of, if you lose it, and there's been mention of some guys losing it, that handguard could come off and come off the front. As far as differences inside, dust cover comes off as usual, and you've got your recoil spring and rod. The big difference is, let me get this out of here. Big difference is this block here in the back. What this does, because the carrier assembly is so short, you need to have that block back there. Essentially, it's a carrier with a piston head, no piston rod. The head is right at the end here. It is solid, so there's no wiggle room, but the reason they put it in there is if this were to come back all the way, you see the piston head clears the gas tube and rear sight block, and you could maybe, going forward, it would hit and jam. So with that block back here, it prevents it from going far enough back and that piston popping out. So that's what that's there for. It's made out of some type of polymer. I haven't had any issues with it wearing. There's a hair of a mark, I don't know if you can see it here, where maybe it's touched, if you can see that, but no wear, no problems, no issues. You could get replacements. There's a guy on AK Files selling these. I think he's 3D printing them, and they seem to work, so I may get a couple extras just to have, but haven't had any issues with it yet. So basically what we're gonna do is take this gun and accessorize it with a few things and turn it into this gun. So let's show you what we've picked to do this build with. More of an accessorization than a build. By the way, we are going to have some build videos coming to you soon, so that's going to be exciting. What we've picked for this particular build is, it's from SB Tactical. It's the SBM 47 brace, and I'll show you that real quick. It is kind of a neat setup. It's a brace, and it comes on, how it installs, and this thing's on there pretty good. Okay, there we go. So this is how it installs. There's a fork here, if you can see that, this fork, and you loosen the grip, let the grip hang down. This slides under the grip, and then the grip screw holds it in. It's just a tube. The tube is screwed into this adapter, and then it's pinned in with a roll pin, if you can see it in there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's pinned in there. And then the brace simply slides on there, and it goes on much easier than it comes off. It's on there good. Velcro strap to hold it around your arm, and I can tell you it works great. Next thing, I'm kind of going by the biggest changes and go down from there. Next thing we chose was the Manticore Arms Alpha Rail, and it's a key mod Alpha Rail made just for the mini Draco. It's cut from billet aluminum, and it's really a neat little unit. Comes with all the screws and a little tube of Loctite, and the Allen keys for it too. Comes with the top cover and the handguard. So here's the top cover, kind of neat. Got Picatinny rail on the top for mounting a micro red dot, and the handguard. Key mod, yeah, I actually kind of like it. Some of the features on it, I'll show you here. Let me put these two together. Some of the features on it are not only the key mod, but at the front here, in addition to, you use the stock screw to attach it from underneath. But so it doesn't come off like the factory one could if that screw came off, there's this flange here. And your muzzle device goes over that, and if this screw were to come out, it can't fall off because the muzzle device holds it on. Slides right into the receiver just like any other handguard. You put the top on, put the screw in, muzzle device, and then 3 screws on each side that are countersunk and hold the top to the bottom. And it's a nice tight fit. Goes on super easy and works real well. So we're going to show you how we put that on. No AK build would be good without a Krebs enhanced safety. We have a angle grip that angle forward grip that we're going to put on the bottom of the alpha rail. We have a Magpul Mo grip. We chose, because I have it laying around, a Bushnell TS25. I think it's TS25. You know, an inexpensive micro red dot, and they just keep working, and for the money, they're hard to beat. This thing's been on a ton of different rifles, pistols, and just keeps on working. As far as a muzzle device, again, I'm putting this thing together cheap with just a lot of parts that I have, either takeoffs or stuff laying around. I've got this as a US made, I don't know if they call this a Vortec or Viper brake, but all it says on it is US made. I do have this Tapco 4-prong. Yeah, it might be a little long, so we'll probably go with this one that I've had on it before. And then, as usual, ALG trigger. We went with the EL on this one, and it's going to work just great. So we're going to put that in, and that'll encompass our build here. So come on along and we'll disassemble this thing and get some of these new parts put on. Okay guys, so here we are. This is what we started with, a stock Romanian mini Draco. And I'm kind of working from the side here so you can have a good view of everything. And I may cut out some of the longer stuff and just you know, show you a little quicker as we go along to save time and not bore you to death. But obviously we're going to start with stripping this thing down, take off the top cover, take off the recoil assembly, take out the block, the carrier, and get that out of the way. Since we are putting an ALG in here, we're going to take out the stock fire control group. So we'll take the safety out, and I'll kind of show you here how I do my trigger spring here. I use a pick to pull it up and out of the way. Do both legs here, if I can keep it all together. Hope I'm not in the way here, but we get it wrapped around the hammer, and then I take a shotgun shell and put it over it so we don't get stung by those spring legs. Then it's just a matter of taking out the retainer for the pins, and we'll use a punch here to push out the pins. There's the pin for the stock trigger assembly, and push this one out for the hammer and spring. Give it a little twist and out it comes. We're going to reuse the hammer spring. So basically it's stripped down here. I think while we're at it, we will take off the front handguard. So we'll take out that screw, and I think these things have become valuable because if people lose them. It's a little socket head screw with a collar. And we'll set that aside because the new Manticore comes with a different one. We need to pull off the handguard here. Just give it a little wiggle and out it comes. And this sucker is stripped down to its bare bones other than the gas tube, which, look at that tiny little gas tube, pops right out. But we're not going to take that off right now. We are going to move along to the trigger installation. Okay, so we've put our ALG hammer, or we've put our stock hammer spring on our ALG hammer. We have our shotgun shell on there to keep the legs from popping out and hurting us. And we slide this sucker right into the receiver here. Line it up like so. Okay, and we need a pin. Put the pin in and line her up here. This is not ideal to trying to line things up and keep it on camera, but there we go. We've got the pin in. Also, for ease of installation, I have put just a tad of grease here on the disconnector spring, just to hold it in place. And we'll set that in like so into the trigger, and we drop that in oh so carefully into the receiver. Sorry, it's off camera here. I'll show you in a second. We drop that in. Take the other pin and line things up. Gotta kind of wiggle a little bit to get the pin to go through. Okay, almost through. It's just a matter of wiggling it and getting it through. So we've got it through. Now I just got to get it through the side of the receiver here. And I do that by grabbing the trigger, moving it up and down, and there we go. It's popped in. So simple as that so far. We are replacing the standard paper clip with a retaining plate. We slide that in next to the spring over the hammer pin and drop it down so it's retaining both. At this point we can put our safety in to hold the whole deal in, like so. And our ALG trigger is in. Take off the shotgun shell, pop the legs down like so, and make sure they're sitting correctly on the legs of the trigger, which they will be in a second. There we go. Let's check it. Okay, it's holding, reset, boom. Check safety, tight as could be, so we don't even need to install the little extra pin for the safety to tighten it up. There is a hair of play, so if we wanted to we could, but it's long enough that we're not going to have to worry about it. Hope you can see that. So that's it for the trigger. Trigger is in. Although I put the wrong safety in. Let's put the Krebs safety in real quick. Here we go. Same deal. Pop it through, make sure it goes through the retaining plate. You guys have no idea how hard this is to do from a side angle. Oh, is that smooth compared to the stock one. Great. So our trigger is in. Next we will replace the grip, and that's just a matter of unscrewing it here. So we'll take a standard gunsmith screwdriver here and undo the screw. Now, we could just loosen it here and slide the new brace right underneath it and be done. But why when we can put a new grip on it? That's a lot more comfortable. So, there we go, the old grip off. There is a nut here that you have to hold in, which I'm doing. So we will, while holding the nut in here, line up the grip and screw like so. And I believe this is, nope, wrong size. Get it started here into the nut. And we just want to get it started. Hopefully I'm at the right angle here. I'll tell you in a second. If it bit, yes it did. So we want to leave a gap right here, and that will allow us to slide our brace right under, like so. Then it's just a matter of finishing tightening the grip screw. So, finish tightening this sucker up. And we have our trigger in, our grip on, our brace on. And we are getting there. And our safety on. That leads us to the handguard itself. And the handguard, let me set this down, is pretty simple. I'm just going to take the top cover off. We're going to slide it in here like so, and it's in. Then you use the new screw that they provided and put that in the stock position here. Let me find the right wrench for this. You can get it to line up here. There we go. And I'm just going to leave these all loose for right now. The new cover, top cover slides right over and into place. You line up the screws in the side here, and we're going to take the little screws provided, put a little dab of blue Loctite, which they provided. They gave me a smaller little sample bottle, but I'm using this. And we're going to tighten these 3 screws up. So we just put a little dab of blue Loctite on here. Don't need much. Just one little drop. And we put our screw in. Make sure you don't cross thread these guys. They're small screws and they're easy to cross thread. And once you get all 6 in, we will be good to go. So there's one side. Flip it over. And we'll get some Loctite on these babies. I will say when this came, the handguard that is, it came with one wrong screw. I was one short on these. I called Manticore and they sent out a whole new package of screws, including a whole new thing of Loctite, and I had it in like a day or two. It was super fast and great customer service. They were very thorough as to what screw I was missing. They had put a different one that was a little larger in there. Must have got mixed in the bin, you know. And to tell you the truth, it was so close that I could have made the same mistake. So now that we've got them all in there, we can tighten them down evenly. The reason you leave it loose at first is so you can make sure everything lines up. But we give them all a good twist. And our handguard is on. So, next step, we can put on our red dot, which is as simple as setting it in there. There's really no room front or back. It's, you know, a pretty tight fit here. And tighten up the screw on that. And our red dot is on. Looks pretty slick. We're getting there. Next, we will put the, well, let's put the flash hider on, huh? Flash hider. That's kind of funny on this. So it's a 14-to-1 reverse thread as usual. And we'll just screw it on here. And let's give it a little twist here so it'll lock in the detent. There we go. And it also, like I said, holds, you know, there's a flange here, and that flash hider holds the handguard on. So there's the front end, completely done. Really, all that's left is our angle grip, and we can pop this sucker in there, like so. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Couple twists, and our vertical grip is on, so now the front end is truly done. And really, pop our grip cover in, like so. And the rest is just putting the stock pieces back in. We'll put the carrier in. We will put the block in. Put the recoil assembly in. Pop our top cover on. And our gun, our pistol, is done. A much nicer trigger, super short reset, safety works, and we're good to go, guys. Not bad for 5 minutes worth of work. So guys, I hope my camera work wasn't too terrible there. It's hard to do literally from the side and not being able to look at things, but what do you think? Came out pretty cool. So just to recap, we did the brace, we did the pistol grip, we did a new ALG EL trigger, super nice, the Krebs safety, the Manticore Arms Alpha Rail, our angled foregrip, and a Bushnell mini red dot, a flash hider, and now you have one heck of a pistol. Wait, forgot something. Get this. Let's go to this. It's only fitting we have a Romanian 75 round drum on there. What do you think of that, guys? You know, short of just a tiny bit of editing, tiny bit. That was me putting it together in live time pretty much, that quick. Things just awesome. And check out our other video on shooting it and some of the fireballs that this sucker blows. It's incredible. It's a great handling, still even with the drum, super lightweight, super nice pistol. You can shoot it as intended with the brace. ATF has said we can shoulder things, so there we go. Pretty neat. As always, like, subscribe. Thanks for everything, guys. We appreciate it. Rockford Ordnance out.